How do you view yourself when you have an off day? You know, those days where you have an overwhelming escalation of negative thoughts and your emotions are out of control. For one reason or another, even though you've been putting in the work, calling out your affirmations, diligently practicing personal development, this particular day just doesn't seem to be going your way. And maybe you're angry, you're hurt, your marriage is suffering, your grades aren't what you expected them to be, or a million other things. Sometimes a couple at the same time. Everyone has off days, some worse than others, but I agree they are undeniably taxing and deafening all the same. These times try even the toughest and most seasoned among us, and so be encouraged, you're not alone in this fight. I'm confident it would be foolish for us to set such an expectation that every day is going to resemble Elysium, with our energy at record levels, our hearts brimming with optimism, everything going in our favor as if you were unstoppable. You see, my goal is to be as positive as I can be, as often as I can in my life, but also allowing myself to miss the mark from time to time, and I think that's a good balance. To me, it resembles the aircraft, which never flies in a straight line, but is mostly in error, making corrections again and again until it reaches its destination. And this constant correction is in response to variables in the makeup of the atmosphere, or I could also say by the effects of the air, heat or cold, damp or dry. And similar to the airplane, we are also living our lives day to day, bending and flexing to the effects of our previous spoken creation. Happiness. Well, that is when your mind is at peace and your outlook is optimistic a greater portion of the time. But there are days when happiness seems a distant fantasy and quite elusive, where tears find their way out, and all the positive mental seeds you planted seem to have fallen among the rocks or been carried off by the birds. Even in my experience, there isn't always good feelings, or forward movement for that matter. Sometimes I need to pause, be still, take a deep breath, and just regroup. I've learned that when anger, frustration, and disappointment have made an assault on my emotional intelligence, it takes a little time, without putting myself down and taking part in a destructive, negative downward spiral of criticism. This doesn't always just affect me, but it can also hurt those around me as well. Neil Cavuto made a great point when he said, "There's nothing wrong or evil about having a bad day. There's everything wrong with making others have to have it with you." Be gracious and kind to those who are trying to help. They don't realize that it's only by your thoughts and decision to break free that you can be brought back from that low. Winston Churchill was credited with saying, "If you find yourself going through hell, keep going." And I can't help but to wonder if what he meant was, keep going because you're coming out the other side soon. That this hell can't hold you. It has no power over you. And unless you choose to stay there, you can will yourself out. The body follows the mind. When I used the word unstoppable earlier, I was actually thinking of Churchill saying to the hurting, keep going. Keep going. He had to know that people were close to the edge, and that giving up and stopping had become a possible course of action for them. Or should I say, inaction. He knew they had to be reminded that they are strong enough to push through, and that as the saying goes, this too shall pass. See, I know you're feeling the pressure, but so does the coal just itching to be a diamond. Coal also has enormous value before it becomes a diamond, and so do you. It may be truth that you are going through hell itself. It may feel like the circumstance is too strong, but keep in mind that the strongest steel is hardened from fire, qualified in the heat, firmed by the flame. So let this be you. You may feel like you are breaking, but you are not broken. You are unbreakable. You are strong. You have so much value. Change is coming. I know it may seem dark, but daylight is peeking in. You have already passed through hell many times before, and if you made it through it once, you will make it through again. Life is about problems and solutions. Robert Schuller reminds us to never underestimate your problem, and certainly not your ability to deal with it. Life is full of problems, and that means it is full of solutions. And your solution, well, it's on the way. The challenges of life were never meant to paralyze you, but to help you discover who you are. Keep going.